Welcome to the Unsung Photographer. Good morning, Jane. Oh, how you doing, folks? Bob Kearns, the Unsung Photographer, here today. And another question out of the question pile. They seem to be coming in now. What's the best lens for a portrait? Well, that's a really good question. However, just seems like everything else. It's two options. We can make this really complicated, or we can kind of simplify it. So we're going to go down the simple path yet again. We're going to straighten Jane's hat here. She's sitting on top of a light stand. She lost a little weight recently. So this is a 24 millimeter lens. That's the focal length. It's a prime lens. That means it's not a zoom. It doesn't zoom in and out. It is what it is. And 24 millimeters is a pretty wide angle lens. So let's take one of these. And you'll notice I'm probably only, 4 feet away from the charming Jane. I've already set my exposure. And let me just take a couple. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, let's go get another lens. All right, in my magical bag of tricks, here's a lens that pretty much almost everybody has or gets at one time or another. And that's a fast 50 millimeter. And now we're going to look and see what this looks like with a 50. And all we're going to do is focus. F3.2, 0.02 of a second. Click. Let's tilt up a little bit. Focus in on Jane's, what should be an eye, but it's not. I haven't changed the distance between the camera and the subject, but we have cut down the field of view quite a bit. It's a lot narrower picture. We've gone from a 24 to a 50. Okay. Now, it's our next weapon of choice. Now, 85 millimeter. Now we should be considerably closer, though we're not twice as close. Set it about the same. F3.2, 0.02 of a second. This is a 1.8 millimeter, 1.8 aperture, 85 millimeter lens. I always click two, force a habit. That being the case, that's what an 85 looks like. And you can see, when we look at these, that Jane's head really fills the frame. Now, what happens if I fill the frame just as much with the other lenses? Now we start talking about differences in compression and what that means. So we're going to take the 85 off. We're going to go back to our 50. Snap the 50 on. Now we're going to move this in. We're going to get a little closer to our subject so that Jane looks the same in the frame as she did with the 85. I'm not changing any of the settings. Still 0.02 of a second, f3.2. Click. Click. All right. Now, let's get our 24 out here. Wow, big difference here. How close do I have to get to make Jane fill the frame the same way? Click, and there we go. So there's two of the 24 with Jane filling the frame. So there's the difference between these three lenses. Which one is the best for portraiture? Well, if you're going to do close-ups, features are more pleasing with the 85 millimeter. If you're going to do headshots, that's what you should use. If 50 millimeter, you might get away with, but it's not as pretty. If you have somebody with more extended features, somebody with a more Romanesque nose or something like that, you may not want to shoot with the 50. A 24 for close-up headshots, it's probably out of the question unless you're just doing it for a special effect. Let's say you're taking pictures of your dog and you want to make those goofy Christmas cards with them. That's about it. Environmental portraiture, yeah, I would use a 24. I've gone as wide as a 17 millimeter to put somebody in a frame in an environment, sort of paint them there, and it looks pretty good. You don't put them towards the edge of the frame. You don't want them really distorted. But if you keep them in the middle third somewhere, they don't look too bad, and you can certainly tell a story that way. So that's another option. So what's the best lens for portraiture? Depends on the portrait. But if you're doing headshots, if you're doing real close-up, top quarter, top half, traditional portrait, then the longer the lens, really the better. 85, I would say, would almost be a minimum. 100 millimeter, 150 millimeter, 200 millimeter. After that, it just gets silly because the lens is, I don't know, this freaking big. It gets a little stupid. But a longer lens has more compression. It flattens things out. It makes people's features look better. So yeah, there's a right answer for that. If you're shooting traditional portraits, then an 85 or better is the proper choice. Anything wider than that, and you're playing in the creative playground. All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again soon.
Shall we begin?